Hey everybody, it is Mary Hyatt and welcome to the Mary Hyatt Show. I am super excited that you are here. I am even more excited that I believe my YouTube Live is working for the first time. But let me exit out of a few things so that everything works smoothly. Fingers crossed. We had technical difficulties last week, but I think we might just be good to go. So yay, this is awesome. So how are you guys doing? I have a wonderful show planned for you. Yes, we are now live. We got to figure it all out. Awesome. We've got a great show planned for you today, all about affirmations. So without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome everybody to the Mary Hyatt Show. Of course, I am your host, Mary Hyatt, and on today's episode, episode 47, we are going to be talking all about why your affirmations are not working. Chances are you have heard about affirmations before. You probably use affirmations. I hope you do. But what I hear from a lot of people is that they're putting all this energy, they're putting all this time into creating affirmations, and they aren't working. So if that is you, if you are frustrated and feel like you are saying all the right things, or at least you think you are, but you're not getting what it is that you want, raise your virtual hand, give me a nod if you're listening to the podcast, because yeah, I mean, this is a very common frustration, and I have narrowed it down to 5 mistakes that I know that most people make, and chances are you're making too. And I think after today's episode, you're going to feel a lot more confident with your affirmations, and you're going to feel like you can truly manifest anything that you want. But let's slow down for just a second and sort of look at what an affirmation is, because we throw this term around a lot, but sometimes we feel a little confused on the actual definition. So what are your affirmations? What is an affirmation? So an affirmation is a statement that you recite, that you say out loud, that is basically a goal in its already completed state. So you're saying sort of an affirmation or a new belief or a new statement that is sort of phrased in a way where it's a goal already finished, already done. And I love how Louise Hay says it. She says, when I talk about doing affirmations, I mean to consciously choose sentences or words that will either help to eliminate something from your life or help to create something new in your life. And you do this in a positive way. So essentially, it is a statement that proclaims your best self, your best life, as though it were already true, which is pretty awesome when you think about it, because our minds are so incredibly powerful. I mean, you know the old saying, like, whatever a man thinks, so he is. We are the totality of our thoughts. Our sum of all of our thoughts ends up equaling our reality, our belief system, what it is that we think about ourselves, what it is that we think about the world. And whether you know it or not, you are actually affirming all day, every day, affirming the things that you believe about yourself and about the world, about other people, about money, about your body, about your job. You are affirming things that you think are true. And so what's powerful is that when we use affirmations from a really intentional place, when we craft them, it gives us the opportunity to take responsibility for those thoughts. It gives us the opportunity to shift the way that we're thinking so that our reality begins to look different. So for example, if I believe and keep saying to myself, I'm ugly, I'm gross, I'm disgusting, and I'm affirming that to myself all day, when I look in the mirror, all I can see is somebody who is ugly, who is disgusting, who is just revolting. And so chances are that is what I'm projecting out to the universe. That is what I am signaling to say, hey, you should think this about me too, because this is what I think about myself. And so it's really, really powerful. And once we begin to create new affirmations, new statements of belief, it literally changes our lives. And we have to start with the thought first. That is what is limiting us at our very core. The conversations that we are having inside of our head with what we believe is true about ourselves and about the world. And so, for example, if I don't believe that I deserve good, we've all been there. I was literally just saying this last night to my boyfriend, that I didn't deserve the good. If we don't believe that we are worthy of a loving relationship, of a successful career, of a bank account that is overflowing, then our actions are going to follow suit to stay in alignment with those beliefs. I'm going to stop pursuing new projects. I'm going to stop getting creative. I'm going to eat the entire jar of cookie dough. I am going to avoid connecting with different people, because if I believe I don't deserve the good, then why would I do anything that would be in alignment with me believing I deserve good? If that's the antithesis of the belief, then I'm going to do everything, all the actions in my life are going to stay in alignment with what I believe. So when we change our thoughts, when we choose new affirmations, it actually leads to new action. It leads us to do something different, which then obviously creates change. So think about this for a second. And hi to all of you guys who are hanging out with me on YouTube Live. But think about this. You think around, I think the average is 50,000 thoughts per day. And a lot of those thoughts are about ourselves. And according to psychological researchers, 80% of those thoughts are negative, and over 90% of those thoughts are the ones that you had yesterday and the day before. It's like our brains are on repeat. It is this sort of spiraling loop that plays over and over and over again with the same thoughts. And so when I started this journey of coming home to myself, of learning how to love my body, of wanting a better life for myself, I didn't realize this, but so many of my thoughts were negative. So many of my thoughts were limiting, were about scarcity. I wasn't enough. There wasn't enough money. There wasn't enough love. And all I knew in my life at that time was that I was anxious, that I was incredibly depressed, that I was 80 pounds heavier than I am now. And I had no zest for life. I had no oomph. I was literally miserable. I was very heavily considering suicide at that time in my life. I was unhappy in my marriage. It was a dark time. And what I didn't realize until I went to a Tony Robbins conference is that our thoughts are the gatekeepers to everything else in our lives. It starts in our mind. And so if we say something enough, it will become a belief in our subconscious mind. When you repeat something enough, your beliefs end up being your reality. It's what you believe is true, again, about yourself and about the world. And so we have to see what it is that we're saying to ourselves, what it is that we're affirming to ourselves, and then replace that once we realize, hey, that isn't going to give me what I want. When I affirm the fact that I am always going to be broke, that I am always going to be in a miserable relationship, when I affirm that nothing ever goes right for me, when I affirm that, just story of my life, it's, gosh, I'm stressed, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. When I affirm that enough times, it becomes true. And when we recognize, I don't want to believe that anymore. It's not giving me what I want. It's just going to give me more of the same. And 10 years from now, I'm going to wake up and my life is going to look exactly the same. So I know that you guys are here because you want to shift your life. And so as we begin to do that and we create new affirmations, we're rephrasing, we're rewording, we're creating new patterns, new mindset habits, new thoughts, new ideas, new beliefs. And as we repeat those enough, it will eventually override our old thought programming. It will override our old system of negative, self-harming beliefs. And it will replace it with something that is more empowering, that is more life-giving, that is really, in my opinion, more true to the essence of who we are, that we are fully lovable, that we are fully capable, that everything that we need comes to us in the exact right moment, that I am full of life, I am aligned with prosperity, I'm a magnet to opportunity, I am a successful entrepreneur earning a multiple six-figure income. Everything that I need, I attract. Everybody that I need to meet will be brought to me. I am loving. I am lovable. I am loved. My body feels the best it's ever felt. I feel energized. I feel alive. I feel full of vitality. I feel full of ecstasy. I believe that life is full of joy. When we can shift into radical affirmations like that, and we repeat those to ourselves over and over again, it truly does become our reality. So our thoughts shift our lives. And that's why you will hear me talk about affirmations a lot, because I'm that convinced, and I've experienced this in my own life, that when you change the way you think, everything else in your life shifts. And so hopefully you've already started this. Hopefully you've already started to affirm to yourself that you are a person who is lovable, you are worth healing, you attract everything that you need on a physical, emotional, financial, spiritual level to contribute to your ultimate abundance and health. And I want to make sure that we maximize what you're already doing, that you maximize these affirmations so that they work, so that they bring that change that it is that you're wanting, that you call in those shifts in your life, that you become a magnet for goodness. And we have to give ourselves time. We kind of have to immerse ourselves in this process. This is something that I do every single day. Now it's just a way of being. Once I notice a negative thought pattern inside of myself, then I can immediately shift it into something that is more empowering, a new affirmation. And then I have ones that I'm repeating every single day. And it takes time. I had to learn how to be kind to myself. I had to learn what it looked like to shift into possibility thinking. I had to learn to see things in a new way, that maybe my life had been the same way. It was always this way. Things didn't really go the way that I wanted to. And I had to be brave enough to say it might just be possible that my life could look different a year from now. And what would I need to believe? What would I need to believe about myself? What would I need to believe about my surroundings, the people I'm in relationship with, what my body is capable of? What would I have to believe in order to live a different life? And that's where I brought in these affirmations. An affirmation opens the way to change. It's sort of a way for our subconscious mind to say, all right, I'm taking responsibility. I'm aware that there's something that I can do to change, and I'm going to start with the words that are coming out of my mouth. And I like to say that affirmations are one of the most powerful ways to give yourself permission to let go, to remind yourself that you are lovable, and make peace with the mirror. Because I know that for me, when I started this process, a lot of my affirmations had to do with my body, because I was at such war with my body that the two areas that I focused on were my body and my finances, my body and success, because those are the areas that were really lacking in my life, and I wanted to create massive change in those areas. And so I began doing these affirmations, creating statements, putting them on my mirrors, putting them in my phone, putting them on the kitchen refrigerator, so that I would always be reminded of, okay, this is the new belief. Let's reprogram these old tapes, these old limiting beliefs that aren't serving me any longer, and we're shifting the mindset. But here's what I came across. There are a lot of mistakes that people make. Writing them out and just saying, I'm gonna be a millionaire by the end of this year. Or you might say something like, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds after 2 months from now. Or I'm going to attract the most amazing lover, by tonight, right? So we have these affirmations and we're saying them, and then we ask ourselves, well, gosh, why aren't they working? So I have come up with the 5 mistakes that you're probably making with your affirmations. So the first mistake that I see people make all the time is that they don't word their affirmations in the present tense. So how I feel about it is that you want to communicate to your mind when you're creating these affirmations, what you're saying, you want to communicate to your mind that it has already happened, that it is happening now, that it is in the present tense, because your brain does not understand time in a linear fashion. If you state a belief, if you state an affirmation in the present tense, whatever you tell your brain, it believes that it is true. It can't understand the difference between a joke. It doesn't know if you're telling the truth or not. It just receives unbiasedly information and says, great, check off. That's what I know to be true. That is what it is. And it doesn't question it. That's our subconscious mind. So the reason that it's really powerful to put this in present tense is that then everything in your subconscious mind wants to reorganize itself to stay consistent with your present tense affirmation, and the shift begins. It's like it goes to find proof to come into alignment with the fact that, hey, you just said that you're earning a 6-figure income. Okay, so what can I do? How can I come back into alignment so that that is true? It's like your subconscious mind gets to go to work to pull you into alignment with that present tense affirmation statement. If you word something in the future, like one day I will be, or, next year this is going to happen. If we say it in the future, our minds sort of process that as way far in the distance, and it's perceived as unattainable now, and it just sort of always stays in the future. So if you look at your affirmations, and if you've been wording them something like I will be or one day, that is a great indicator that you can shift and to say I am, as if it were already happening. I am a successful la-di-da-di-da. I am full of energy. I am full of life. I am attracting everything that I need on an emotional, spiritual, physical, financial level to allow myself to thrive and to live my best life. I am today. You proclaim it, you say it as though it is true in this moment in real time. So you can use the phrase I am, and you can also use today. So that's really great. So shifting from creating affirmations in the future tense and make them into the present tense. Now, the second mistake, and this is a biggie. This is a biggie. I see this happen so often, and this is probably the most discouraging mistake that people make, is that they believe what they're saying isn't real, that their affirmations aren't believable. So the second mistake is that they aren't believable. What you're creating, what you're writing, your mind hears you say it and goes, that's BS. No, that's never going to happen. Like, who are you kidding? Who do you think you are to even say that? When you have an affirmation and you instantly feel like you can't buy into it, that is okay. That's really natural. It just shows you that you've stretched from where you are in your current reality. You've just stretched a little too far. It's unbelievable. You don't believe it. You don't believe you deserve the good. And so what I tell my coaching clients all the time as they're creating their new affirmations for their life is to back it up. If it feels like you can't believe it, you can't buy into it, that's BS, that's baloney, then we got to bring it back and say it in a way, rewound the tape and said, okay, what was the first belief that I needed to believe right then in order to eventually get to this farther, more future-focused belief of I'm super wealthy, I'm happy, I'm healthy, whatever that end result might be. If I can't believe that, then what's the first little step that I can believe? And so for me, what I tell people oftentimes is to use language of possibility. It might just be possible that one day I will wake up without any pain. It might just be possible that today I have no pain. It might just be possible today that I look in the mirror and smile. Now, you may not be able to love your body today. You may not be able to believe that you and your body are on the same team today, but you might be able to look at your body today and crack a little smile. Or you might be able to do something kind for yourself today. So we have to look at it in the realm of possibility. It might just be possible. It's like we cannot open the door all the way. We have to simply crack it. And once we believe that first little step of belief, then we can add to it. It might just be possible that I get through a whole day without being a body bully to myself. Just for one day. It might be possible. And so we're inching ourselves along, and we're baby stepping our way through these new affirmations and beliefs about who we are and what is true about the world. So it's totally fine to back up your affirmations and make them believable. And what I see that sabotages affirmations most of the time is this lack of belief. So when you say an affirmation and you think, no way in hell, that's true, back it up. What would be the first thought that I would need to begin to create more abundance in my life, more health in my life, more love in my life? So the second mistake is that they aren't believable. So back them up, chunk them down a little bit more, and make them more believable. And the third mistake that I see, this is a fun one for me to talk about, is that oftentimes people's affirmations don't include gratitude. Okay, so we could pause for a minute to think about gratitude. Why is gratitude so important, and why should your affirmations include gratitude? Because most people offer thanks, give thanks, offer gratitude when things have happened, like after the fact. Oh, I'm so grateful that I just graduated college. And when we offer gratitude in advance, it's arguably, in my opinion, the most powerful tool of the universe to create and attract what it is that you want. It communicates faith that you know that that thing is going to come to be. Whatever it is that you want, whatever shift that you're trying to create in your life, when you can be grateful before it even happens, it's like signaling to the universe certainty. It's a sure thing. It's a done deal. It is settled. It is done. It's an offering of faith. I know that as I say this, as I proclaim this, as I affirm this, it will be, and I am so grateful because I know that it's coming for me, baby. I know that that shift is happening, that I'm going to create it. I'm already grateful for it because I know that it is going to happen. And in order for our affirmations to take root and for that shift to begin and to begin to attract new things into our lives, we have to believe that it is possible, that it is certain, that it is a done deal. And I love this quote from Jen Sincera, who is the author of You Are a Badass. And she says, gratitude gets you out of the loop of lowness, opens you to new possibilities, and sets you free. Gratitude is one of the highest vibration energies. Like you can actually palpably measure this. Along with joy, along with appreciation, gratitude is the highest. You think about fear, you think about doubt, you think about anger. Those are lower vibration energies. But gratitude is a really, really high vibration energy, and it acts as a magnet. Whatever you're grateful for, it's like you're signaling to the universe, hey, I want more of that. Hey, bring me more of that. And it feels amazing. It literally draws those things to you when you are grateful for it. And I know for me, I even like to use the word appreciation more so than I even like to use the word gratitude. And it feels better emotionally to me. I don't know, that's sort of a personal preference. I've heard a lot of people talk about this before, but I can feel appreciation. Sometimes gratitude is hard to access, but appreciation is like, I'm so appreciative of that. Like I feel it. I sense it. It feels amazing. So include gratitude. I'm so grateful to be celebrating the fact that I am making 6 figures through my doTERRA business. I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative that my body is able to heal itself and feel amazing. I am so grateful that I am in a loving, life-giving relationship. Whatever that is, offering that gratitude, attaching gratitude to that affirmation will help call in more of that, more of the good, which is what we want. All right, 4th mistake is that oftentimes our affirmations don't evoke emotion. Now, this is really important because there's a big difference, Tony Robbins talks about this, between an affirmation and an incantation. Now, an affirmation without emotion might look like and sound like you're looking in the mirror, your shoulders are shrugged down. I'm beautiful, 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 I'm beautiful. Wah, wah. There's no emotion, there's no heart, there's no soul behind that. And so when we shift into thinking it more like an incantation, we're adding emotion to it. An affirmation should move you. It should compel you forward. You should want whatever it is that you are affirming so deeply that you physically feel it. You feel it in your heart. Maybe your heart feels more expansive. You start to heat up. Your body temperature goes up. Your chest raises. Your shoulders drop. Maybe your chin raises. And you're like, woohoo, bring it on. Yes, this is my life. I am claiming this. It evokes emotion. It moves you. It stirs your soul. That is what we want. Because when you are emotionally compelled towards your future, towards the things that you want more of in your life, everything inside of you wants to hurry up and get there. Because it's going to feel so freaking good. Everything. So we have to make sure that our affirmations evoke emotion. And if they don't, all you have to do is reword them in a way that go, oh yeah, there it is. That's the money. That's what I'm talking about. You'll instantly feel the difference. If you're not inspired by your affirmations, just slow down, sit down, rewrite them in a way that inspires your mind, that inspires your heart, that gets you excited, that fills maybe your tears or your eyes up with tears. You want it to be emotional. All right, last and not least, the 5th mistake that I see people making is that their affirmations aren't specific enough. You want to get really crystal clear on what it is that you are asking for, what it is that you are choosing to believe, what it is that you are affirming and reciting. So if your affirmations are vague, they're not descriptive, they're not specific, then you're going to get vague results. So if you just want to feel better or just make more money, that's not specific enough. We want a dollar amount. We want to know what that looks like, feels like, tastes like. What specifically are you calling in? And you might have to back this up. So this week may be an affirmation, a new affirmation that's different from the rest of the year. And there might be ones that are bigger, more global kinds of affirmations that you're trying to call in the fact that you feel more lovable, that you have everything that you need, that you attract abundance. But if you can get specific, that's really going to help because it's sort of placing your order into the universe, placing your order into God, saying your prayer and asking specifically what it is that you are wanting in your life. You can't get that present. You can't unwrap the bow, tear that paper off, and expect to get specifically mint condition, first edition book when you just simply asked for a book. It's not going to be that specific if you're asking in a vague way. So we got to get more specific, really challenge ourselves to ask, what is it that I'm really calling in? What is it that I'm really wanting to manifest? What is it that I'm really wanting to shift? And what is the result that I'm looking for specifically? How will I know when it's happened? How will I know that I've reached it? How will I know when it's given to me, presented to me, gifted to me, blessed blessed to me. How will we know? It's if we can get specific. That is the name of the game. So 5 mistakes that you're probably making. Number 1, they aren't in present tense. Number 2, they aren't believable. Mistake number 3, they don't include gratitude. 4, they don't evoke emotion. And 5, they aren't specific enough. So hopefully you can begin to tweak your affirmations a little bit and begin to get more of what it is that you want. So now, as we close the show, I want to share with you how to supercharge your affirmations. This is my affirmation secret. This is the number one thing that I tell my clients that shift the way that they are doing affirmations and allow them to call into their lives what they want to manifest almost immediately, if not way quicker. So before I do that though, I want to make sure that you know about my brand new podcast. If you are listening to this podcast, you already know about it, but I want to encourage you to subscribe today to the Mary Hyatt Show podcast. You can find it on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play. And while you are there, if you are listening on the podcast, or even if you're watching this video and you grab your phone, I'm going to ask a little favor from you. And that is to, number 1, subscribe, and number 2, to rate my podcast. Y'all know it's brand new. Y'all know I'm off social media. So I am asking you to do this for me. If you've listened to my previous Facebook Live show, if you are catching this YouTube live show, you already know that these are awesome shows, interactive, give you great content and value. And so if you would just take a minute to pull it up, the Mary Hyatt Show, subscribe, and then if you scroll down, you will see there in the second picture, ratings and reviews. So just offer me 5 stars if you think I'm worth 5 stars. Whatever you want would be amazing. And if you can, write a short review, just like, oh my God, I love the show, Mary's so great, however you want to word it, whatever you want to say. I would so appreciate you just taking 2 minutes to subscribe, rate this podcast, and to write a review on your podcast app. Okay, so let's get back to how to actually supercharge your affirmation so that you manifest it every single time. So supercharge affirmations. Now, I'm going to ask you this question, and this is really important because it will make or break the success of this. As Louise Hay would ask, how much mental effort are you willing to exert to change your life and make it the life that you want? How much mental effort are you willing to exert? How committed are you to do this process? I tell people it's sort of like learning a new language. When we have these old tapes that are telling us that we're always going to be broke, that we're always going to be miserable in our relationships, that we're always going to hate our bodies, that we cannot really have beautiful, loving friendships or family relationships or spousal relationships or partner relationships, that everything wrong is going to happen to us. When we have these old patterns, these old mindset beliefs, and we want to rewire them. We want to create new mindset, new belief, new ways of thinking. It's sort of like learning a new language. And so the more that you can practice your affirmations, the deeper rooted they are going to get and the quicker you will create change. It's kind of like, let's say you're trying to learn Spanish. Chances are you are going to make flashcards. You're going to watch videos on YouTube of children's videos in Spanish and watch a little ball, go from word to word to word as you memorize the rhymes to help you learn the vocabulary. You're going to study. Maybe you hire a tutor. You're going to give yourself an immersion experience to create sort of this new dialogue inside of your mind, which is Spanish. And hopefully after the course of 4, 5, 6 weeks of true immersion, all of a sudden you find yourself dreaming in Spanish, you start speaking in Spanish. It is literally how you think. You've created a brand new language in your mind just by the repetition of looking at these words, these new vocabulary every single day, multiple times a day, flooding your mind with a new language. And the same thing goes for affirmations. When we are creating new beliefs about ourselves, about who we are, who we're created to be, what it is that is possible for our lives, then it's the same kind of process of immersion. So the way that we supercharge, I like to think about this as the Mary's immersion technique. So here's how it works. Choose an affirmation. Step 1, choose an affirmation that it is that you want to work with. So pick one just to start out with. Pick one that moves you, that feels compelling, that excites you, that feels just like a home run. The second step is to find a piece of instrumental music that moves you. This is really important. It can be 3-4 minutes long, but I like to choose songs that are sometimes from movies, sort of these epic, heroic movies. Something that's going to move me without any words, but something that emotionally moves me. So something from the score of a movie or some other of your favorite instrumental pieces, something that is just really beautiful for you. The third step is that you are going to get in front of a mirror every day. And the fourth step is that you are going to put your favorite song on repeat. So whatever that instrumental piece is, you're going to put it on a repeat from your phone. And this is where it gets good. The fifth step of supercharging your affirmations is that you are going to begin repeating your affirmation 100 times out loud as you look yourself in the mirror and you're looking at your own eyes in the mirror. I did this as I was working on loving my body more. And I have this beautiful song that I love to listen to. And I believe it's by David Tolk, he's amazing. If you aren't familiar with him, pianist, just gorgeous, gorgeous music. And I started to affirm the fact that I was beautiful. Up until this point, I hated looking at myself in the mirror. I didn't want to see myself. I avoided full-length mirrors. I was ashamed of my body. I was disgusted by her. And I knew that I had to repair that relationship. I didn't want to keep believing that I was ugly and gross and disgusting and unworthy of love. That was an old tape that needed updating, that needed to shift. So I did the supercharging immersion experience, and I got myself a piece of music. I looked at myself in the mirror, into my own eyes, and I repeated that affirmation 100 times. And don't stop until you get to 100. And that affirmation now is supercharged. And so I encourage you to choose one affirmation and to do that for 32 days straight. Out loud 100 times. Do it the first time for 100. And then all you have to do is repeat it to the repetition of one song. Now, I know what you might say is like, I don't have time to do this. I don't want to do this, or my husband's going to be home, or my partner's going to be home, and I'm going to look like an idiot. I'm going to look stupid. So if you can't look at yourself in the mirror, as my mom would say, don't let the best be the enemy of the good. Do it in your car. Put the music on in your car and have that affirmation ready for yourself. And it's just, a song's 3 to 4 minutes long. This is easy. You've got 3 to 4 minutes as you're going to and from school, to and from work, to and from the grocery store, to and from the gym. You've got 4 or 5 minutes. So taking the time to say that affirmation, repeating it over and over and over again after you supercharged it. So the supercharging is saying it 100 times. Then for 32 days after that, you're just going to be saying it to the length of one song. Watch how this exercise shifts your life. Watch how saying that one affirmation in an immersion style for 3 or 4 minutes on repeat, on repetition, for 3, 4, 5 minutes, see what that does to your life. See how it creates change. See what it calls in. So that is my encouragement to you, is to do that. To give yourself that 32-day affirmation challenge and see what happens. And I want to know. Report back to me. Email me. My contact information is on my website, maryhyatt.com. I want to hear about it. I want to hear how this has shifted your life. So will you take the 32-day challenge? Will you do this with me? Are you in? Raise your virtual hand. Give me a yes in your car if you're listening to the podcast. It is so powerful. I have done this so many times with different affirmations, and it is amazing what you can do to shift your mindset in 32 days when you just use one song. It's easy as that. So guys, thank you so much for being on the show today, for learning about the mistakes that you're probably making in your affirmations, how you can shift and craft them in a way that will make sure to manifest them every single time. And I encourage you to supercharge them, to embark on this 32-day challenge and begin creating a new reality for yourself using the power of your thoughts. All right, I will see you next week, Wednesday at 1 o'clock Central, right here on YouTube Live. And of course, if you were listening to the podcast, it will be uploaded next week as well. So stay tuned for that. And if you get a chance, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, and to leave a review. All right, guys, hope you have a fabulous rest of your week, and I will see y'all soon. All righty, bye.